And we're back on the One Recovery Radio Network. My name's Keith, host of the Big Things by 9 podcast. I am with my buddy Bryan. It's been a week, but how are you, bud?
What's up, man? Doing good.
Looking forward to part 5, is it? Wow. Good stuff.
Cinco.
Yeah, yep.
Episode what?
Cinco.
No.
Oh, yeah, no, this is episode number 69. Yeah.
Giggity.
Yeah. Digging a dog. But, all right, so what's up? So what's up? Let's get caught up. What's going on?
So we're just gonna kind of wrap up my story, I guess. Because like everybody's, I went through a lot of treatment. This is, I think, coming through here. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I think 6 rehabs that I've gone to.
6. Oh, before you go, was there any of them that were above the rest? You felt like, out of all of them, which ones actually worked the most for you? That's a great question.
Well, I got some from all of them.
Okay.
I would say that there's two. Well, obviously, the last couple have stand out the most: Odyssey House and First Step.
You liked Odyssey?
I loved Odyssey.
Really? Wow.
I absolutely loved it.
That's good.
A lot of people don't like it, because there's a lot of rules and everything. But here's the thing about Odyssey House, and you can't look at it from an angle of rules and so forth. You got to look at it. What can I do for you, right? And that's how I approached it. I didn't get caught up in the girls, like a lot of people do. I didn't get caught up in the whole. I didn't listen to all the negative stuff before I went in, because you got to consider the source. The people that are telling you the crappy things about it are the people who couldn't make it, or they got kicked out, or they left. They chose to leave. You know what I mean? And so those are the people that usually are the ones that you're going to hear all the bad stuff about, And one of the most famous ones with Odyssey House is snitching,
Yes,
I won't snitch.
So how does that go when you won't do it?
I don't snitch, And here's the thing. So I went all the way up into Navigator, and ended up completing the residential.
Explain that what the Navigator is.
They're the ones that basically run the house.
Okay. Like I was at Epic, I was on leadership, so that's pretty much the same thing. There was 4 of us from each house. Yeah,
exactly. So I was at the downtown facility.
Okay.
The adult house is what they call it.
Is that the one that's it's over here, like by 9th East, or is this the one that's back kind of by?
No, it's actually right here on 6th East and 100 South.
Okay. Yep.
Just right up the road.
That's like their main one, isn't it? That's their offices. Yeah, that's where the Martindale Clinic is.
Martindale Clinic's at Lighthouse. And that's just right up here as well. That's on.
It's on first. It's first and like 3rd East.
It's like 7th East, 750 East, and like 3rd South. I believe is where Lighthouse is. Okay. The adult house is right here on 100 North and 600 East.
Oh, 100 North. Yes, in the avenues. Okay.
Their facility where they have where they're like their admissions and offices and stuff. That's 100 East, 300 East and 100 South. So it's just right on the corner.
Gotcha.
This whole area is Odyssey House.
Dude, and then you got the Haven up there. I've never done the Haven, but I know a lot of people that have, and they love the Haven.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you're right about Odyssey, because the people that have talked down on it are the people that are out there fucking up.
Right.
It's like it's...
So my story was, I went into Odyssey House, and I was actually trying to get into First Step when that all happened.
Which is another great program too.
Yeah,
it's a great program.
Great program. And I couldn't get in, and so I was at that situation where I found myself homeless and
trying to get into a treatment.
Oh
man, that's so hard to do, dude.
And I had burned all my bridges with my family. Nobody was. It was just a tough love situation, you know. And I knew myself well enough to know that if I stayed downtown and tried, waiting the whole game to get into a treatment facility or go to the VOA, I was going to keep using.
Yeah, of course. That's how it goes.
Because it was just giving myself an excuse. I was down and out, and I was really upset at myself more than anybody in anything, and I was going to use. And so I did the one thing that I knew that would, inspire me to keep me sober and everything. And I, instead of hanging out downtown, I actually took the train and went over to the airport. Believe it or not.
Okay.
And I know the airport, environment well enough because of all the jobs I've had, refueling and bags and piloting, that
see every side.
I knew where I could go and where I couldn't go, and to just get into, if you look like you belong, then you belong type thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
you see somebody homeless though walking around with a backpack and everything, and
act like a boss. That's what I call it. Act like a boss.
Yeah, exactly. So it really stands out. And so anyway, I ended up finding myself over at the airport, and I had called and was trying to get into First Step, and I got a hold of Odyssey House, and they said that they could have me come in on Monday.
Okay,
that was 3 days away. I called them on a Thursday. Okay, so I had to stay the whole weekend,
long weekend,
and not use. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I didn't know if I could do it.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going to the airport, and I found myself sleeping over by the. I was terrified of actually getting pulled over by any of the airport police and having my PO called and getting thrown in. Right. So I was afraid of going on the airport grounds at night, walking around like I was loitering or whatnot. Yeah. So I made sure I was on the outside of the airport perimeter. Yeah. So that the airport police wouldn't actually have to deal with me or anything. I was in Salt Lake County. Yep. The Salt Lake County Police, the Sheriff's Department. And they were a lot less likely to deal with me. So I found myself sleeping out there, and then in the daytime, walking around over, up closer to the airport and stuff, watching airplanes land and stuff. And so I ended up turning into one of my favorite hobbies is, photography and taking pictures of airplanes and stuff. And if you walk on the south end of the runway, you can stand right there's a bike path, actually a paved bike path that goes all the way around the airport. Really? People don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Where the golf course used to be?
Yes.
Right there. So you can actually walk right there. There's a big gate and everything. It's really deterrent, and people don't realize that you can actually walk through that. Because it's all tall and metal, and it looks really kind of scary, like it's security, and everything. But there's hours on it, and you can actually open it up and walk through there. Well, it says on all the places that you're not supposed to stop, in front because of the aircraft landing and stuff. But if you time it and you see them coming in, you can walk right in front of those airplanes, and they're only like 50 feet above you, dude, and they come flying over the top of you, and it's strong enough that
that's so cool. On Wayne's World, they lay on the front of the car on the hood, and they just go right over them.
And the wind whistles through the fence and everything. Yeah. Well, I love it there, man.
Dude, that's your thing, So
I love it. I did that when I was. When I was a flight instructor, and
it's so cool to see. Like, you don't realize how big of a piece of machinery it is. So you're under the belly of it.
It's amazing.
You feel the energy go over you. I mean, it's crazy.
It's amazing how much energy and weight that is, and how they can fly.
Yeah. Yep.
So, anyways, that's where I found myself to stay sober and clean, and I ended up going into Odyssey House. I actually walked to First Step, and I walked over, and they weren't there. I was asking for Ray, and they weren't there, so I went over to Odyssey House, and I did really well over at Odyssey House.
So they took you right in?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Went to Odyssey House and went through the program. We got into it, and COVID hit, and anyway, COVID hit, and it was everything changed, man. Everything changed. Their whole program changed. It wasn't even the same Odyssey House program, nothing, and. I became navigator, and I was navigator when that all happened, and the whole house got COVID. 56 clients. The whole adult
this is
house.
Like in the first month of COVID, or
yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is February of
quarantine at Epic
2020 or whatever.
Everybody coming in had to go into quarantine for like a week.
Yeah.
In one house, and then once they got out of that, they tested okay. Then they go into the main house and start treatment.
You know what they did with us? What? The whole county health department got involved, and they all took us and made us whoever was positive. They had to quarantine us down at the there's a elementary school on 600 South and 300 East, just right around the corner down here. Yep. And they actually put a sheriff on each parking lot on each side of the building to make sure that none of us left. And they had nurses down there in full hazmat suits wearing white, and they never even talked to us or anything.
That was just their quarantine. That's where they
only to serve us food, and at that point is when they checked our temperature and stuff like that. And so it was crazy. So imagine this: you get a whole house of 7. We had 84 people in the adult house program. Okay.
There's a lot of people in that house, man.
I know, it's an unbelievable amount.
First Step's the same way. Their house over in Rose Park.
So crazy. And so we had that many.
I love it. I love that.
As soon as they told us that they were going to quarantine us, we had like 13 guys bounce. And they said, F this.
Yeah.
And they all bounced. So that drops down to, 70, 72 or so. And then out of that, we had, believe it or not, the girls were the ones that didn't actually get COVID. There's only a few of them that got COVID.
Okay.
And from what we know, it's amazing. They're the ones that spread it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They had anyway. That's a long story. We don't even get into that. But
yeah, everybody's got Odyssey stories that went there.
Imagine this though. So they kick us out, or they don't kick us out, but they exit all of us out of Odyssey House, and they take us down to the elementary, right, to quarantine. And because we're not in their care anymore, we're basically exited out of their program temporarily. So
that's where your home is. It's where you live.
Yeah, they give us all of our cell phones, our cigarettes, because you can't smoke in Odyssey.
I know, that's fucking crazy, right? Dude. That's so crazy.
You can't have cell phones either. So they give everybody their cell phones, their cigarettes back, everything. And I'll tell you what, dude, it went off the chain.
Just the beginning,
It did. It went off the chain. Yeah. People were relapsing in the bathrooms, and it was just, it went crazy down there for a minute, So it was pretty wild, man. When I was there, I
like the chaos though. Like in the
it was fun.
I eat that shit up. I love it. Because we're all there for the same reasons.
Some people can't handle it though.
They can't, dude.
Some people can't handle change, and I mean, I went through so much. I don't know. I've always embraced it. Change is good. I think.
I agree.
It keeps you on your toes, and it's different. I get bored easily, so
I do too.
If I get stagnant and not doing anything, the same old crap,
your mind starts going off again. Yep.
That's the longest job I ever had. Was flying.
Yeah, sure.
And I've always bounced around from job to job. I'll have a job for a while, I get bored, and look for another one.
Yeah.
And it's just the type of personality I have. I think.
Yeah. I get that.
So anyway, Odyssey House is a really good program, man. I really like it, and a lot of the people that go there are very, very. They have in my opinion, they have a bond that's always there. You run into anybody that says, "Oh, you went to Odyssey," and it's you automatically know.
It's like you made it through Hell Week,
You start laughing about strokes, and encounters and like the encounter process and stuff. So the thing that I learned about Odyssey House and what it did for me was it taught me about boundaries. And the first thing that I encountered when I went there was working in the kitchen, and I started serving coffee. And over there they have a rule that you can only have one cup of coffee for breakfast and one for dinner.
We were getting cracked on instant coffee at Epic.
It's pretty hard to. It's harder than I thought, because I have what they call LAR, like it's love, approval, respect.
Yes.
You want people to like you. You like
treat them the way you want to be treated.
You like friends, right? And you want people to respect you and so forth. And so you do things that you normally wouldn't do to get that friendship. And that's always been my hang up in my life, is that I want that respect. I want you to be friends with me. So all of a sudden I find myself hanging out or doing something with somebody that I shouldn't do. It's not what I think is what defines me as a person. And next thing I know, I'm relapsing. And so serving coffee was a hard thing for me, because all of a sudden I started becoming friends with guys there,
Yeah.
The hey bro thing,
Yeah, hey homie.
Bro.
Your homies,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, hook me up with a cup of coffee.
Got you, bro.
Yeah. And you know what? I learned real quick, you hand out one extra cup of coffee to the one guy, and the 5 guys behind him that sees you do it, you got to give it to him.
You got to. They'll tell on you. That's what they do.
Exactly. And in that program, it's about holding people accountable. And if they tell on you, you're smoked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
trust has got to be a hard thing to conquer that place, huh?
People get wound up so hard in that about owing people and they call it making contracts. You contract with somebody. Basically, you're like, hey, you do for me something, and I will do something good for you.
I love it. And
oh, you don't have to worry about him. I got dirt on him. Yeah. I saw him do this the other day.
The dope game, just like it.
And that whole cycle of craziness that gets brought into that program was brought into that program intentionally, because it teaches us how to handle things in real life. How chain of command, like at work, for example. If you have an issue, like you want your day off, or for your birthday, for example, you don't, maybe you need to go to your supervisor and talk to them about it. You don't go to the CEO of your company because you have a gripe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't want to hear it.
And so they have a way of, like, if you want a toothbrush, you don't just go to the disco, which is higher up in the house, that help run the house. You need to go to the person it's just above your level, and then they run it up the chain of command, and then they run it to their boss.
That's hard. That's who we were. Not as extreme as Odyssey, but we were like that in our own way. But we were like Epic was like a country club, It's like we're out there playing croquet and stuff, and
it's done for a reason, Instant gratification is what addiction's all about, right?
Absolutely.
And so it teaches us patience and learning how to cope with our feelings of anger and wanting that instantly right now.
Yep.
And on the flip side, though, the good thing is that by doing that, it creates a whole chain of people that have seen your request.
Yep.
Oh, so-and-so needs a toothbrush. Oh, I can do that. I can handle that for him. And then, if it falls through the cracks...
Kind of like prison, going to your...
It falls through the cracks. You've got 20 people that knew about it, and they all should have helped you.
Yep.
And that's about creating a network in sobriety as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's how we build a network of sobriety.
Yeah.
Is by contacting this person and that person and that person. And by the more people you know, the quicker you can get help, or the quicker that somebody might be able to see that you're going down the wrong road, even though you might not see it. Right? I might look at it like saying, "Well, I just wanted this," and somebody else in my family might say, "Well, Bryan, that's dangerous. That's really dangerous. You shouldn't do that."
Yeah.
And I laugh. I'll sometimes like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, it's just a joke.
Me having my cell phone is not dangerous. And they're like, yes, it is, You
gotta look at it that way, It's like,
they look at it that way.
Yeah,
the way I look at it is, okay, if I'm going to use, I'm going to use. I can guarantee you that.
You got kid,
and I don't need a cell
phone. You got a kid, you got all that shit.
I'll drive down there and get it,
Yep.
But, so anyways, Odyssey House was a big, going back to your question, which one stood out? Odyssey House is one.
Okay.
First Step is the other one.
Heard nothing but good stuff about First Step.
First Step is really blowing up in this community, and
just right here in this block that we live in, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they're corporates right over there. They're all there.
Well, one, they're getting all these new loans and everything to build all these new buildings and programs and everything for a reason. Okay, they're implementing something that the Odyssey House isn't doing, and that is, one, they give everybody their cell phone, right? They get them back into a work program. They let them go out to work basically throughout the day.
Yeah, that's how Epic is.
Yeah, and it's good because it helps the therapists and the counselors help you deal with real life issues, real life temptations, right?
Yep.
So if you're tempted with your cell phone, like my family says I am, what not a better way to learn to deal with that than while in treatment, in my opinion.
Yep. No, I agree because
so,
we got our at Epic for the first 2 phases, which is like after like 2.5 months during phase 3, then you can have your phone, but you earn it at Epic.
Yeah,
and it's in a locker until then. So you gotta prove that you're doing it right. You're not missing out on groups or anything. And if you just do what you're told, you have your cell phone halfway through the program. And
that's cool.
Yeah, you earn
it. That's cool.
Yeah, I like it that way.
See, and I missed that part. Even at First Step, I came in, when they were in COVID, so we were in the COVID protocol and everything, and so I haven't even been able to see exactly what First Step's program normally is. I'm starting to hear about it though, and it sounds like it's starting to go back the way that it used to be. So, those 2 programs really. I don't know, it really helped out a lot, It really got to where it brought back where I could love myself.
It's about what you make it, with all these places. Odyssey, First Step, Epic, wherever. Like, if you go in with the mindset, like, I'm ready to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get clean, and when I get out of here, I'll worry about the rest. But right now, I'm here, and you want to change. So, as much as I've heard people complain about Odyssey, to me, like you said, that shows that it's a working program. Because the people that tell me that are a lot different than the ones like you.
You get different kinds of people. You get people that want everything handed to them, and then they do nothing. And then they have people that are like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of the programs they offer, but you work for it. You go out and get it. You know what I mean?
It's not just given to you. You got to work for it.
Another program that I think that really deserves a shout out that First Step does is their EPP program, their employment program.
Yes, that's
people don't know that.
So explain that real quick in a nutshell. What is it exactly?
So they will. So like when you're in treatment, and you're like over at 411 or so, and you want to start looking into a job, you can contact them. You tell your case manager first, right? Your case manager really should be the one to bring it up to them and give them the opportunity and say, hey, we have a department that handles nothing but finding jobs for you. Yeah. And that is their sole job.
How is that not connected?
They're hired to do that, right? Like they have they have a family at home. They have to bring home the bacon, right? Yeah. So for them to get their paycheck every week, First Step pays them to give employment to people like us. Okay. So think about that for a second. That means that it's working.
Yeah, that's working. Yeah.
They're not going to get a paycheck every week if they're not doing something.
Correct.
And so I personally have benefited from that.
Self-sufficiency, it's huge in treatment.
The last 2 jobs that I've had have come from them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to me to, seal the deal.
Yeah, but they give you the opportunity.
Yeah, but they came to me. I already had my resume and everything built, so they didn't have to help me with that. But they do that for people. If you don't know how to build a resume, that's fine. Talk to them. Tell them.
I used to charge people, I do like reference letters, all that stuff. People would come to me, here's a pack of smokes, I need this done, and it's kind of had my own little business going on there, like I always had goodies.
Yeah. But it's really cool because these guys go out and they're networking when we're
getting better,
either at work, getting better, in treatment, or if you
being prepared to get to that stage where you can go work,
Right. So I have a really good job right now.
Yeah.
So
and this one came through First Step.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah. It was referred through EPP.
Awesome. Yeah. What does EPP stand for?
Employment.
Employment.
Oh my gosh, I don't even.
Employment.
I can't even remember.
Protective.
Homies. Employment protective homies.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
I'm a Star Treatment Center, and when I do it, it's going to be called House of the Homies. Like they have House to Hope, I'm House of the Homie.
House of the Homies?
Yeah, dude.
I used to have it in my phone, but I go through Pat. Pat's one of the good guys down there. He would love to help out, help everybody out. So I actually got off the phone with him today.
Okay.
I want to get a job, some like weekend work.
Yeah.
Just something part-time.
Yeah.
I really don't even know what I want to do, man. I might want to do something like in fast food, something I've never done before.
Sure.
I don't know. I just want something to where it takes my time off of, downtime.
Yeah.
Like I said, I get bored. So I have my son every other weekend, right?
Yep.
I want something on the weekends, so if anybody that's listening is out there and knows of anybody that's hiring,
he's legit, guys. I'll vouch for him. He's legit.
Which is pretty much everywhere.
No matter what. Now, it doesn't matter what anybody says about him. He's legit.
But, getting back to what what they offer and everything, they'll help everybody with all kinds of stuff. So I was looking into going back into college, right?
Okay.
Going back in, and I still might do it. So they actually helped. They called Salt Lake Community College and set up a tour. And so we went down there and we toured the community college together.
Oh, that's so cool.
And they reached out and I mean, dude, they connect the dots. It's amazing how well it
that's
works.
Cool. That's how it should work.
It's really freaking awesome. So if you're listening and you need a job or you want a different job, call these guys.
Yep.
They'll help you. So they, that's something that was really important in my recovery. Another, so I made like a little shout out list here.
Absolutely,
so
let's do it.
Some of the ones that really helped me along the way was obviously Odyssey House, Martindale Clinic.
Yep.
They're a clinic that is tied and owned by Odyssey House.
Yep.
But anybody can go to them and they're addicted.
The subscriber over there, she's really cool. I forgot her name, but I saw her years ago.
I went to Jessica for a long time, and
is she a subscriber?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I think that was who it was because she was the one that they got me the original reference for my hip.
Yeah.
Martindale did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she wrote up, and I was had an appointment a couple weeks after that. So
they're all about addiction too. So they know.
I know, dude. I love it.
And you don't have to hide about your addiction to them. You just be honest with them, man.
Don't glorify, but be real about it.
I would go into doctors, and I'm used to like keeping secrets and stuff, right?
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, because you don't want them to know this because you want the good stuff.
Yep.
You don't have to do that over there. So, cool. A shout out to them. A shout out to the Vernal Drug Court. Over in Vernal, Utah, drug court really helped me out a lot, man. I learned so much. How many people
were you in there with in drug court over there?
We had about Well, probably about 27 or so. 20, 30 people.
We just graduated a couple weeks ago, like, not even 10 people. But that's one court, though.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like 3 or 4 of them now.
Yeah, when we had graduations, it was only like 3 people when we would graduate. So, but yeah, they actually are linked with Salt Lake too. So like, because we used to hear my judge and their judge just talk to each other all the time. Judge Skanky, I think is one of them. I remember that one.
Skanky Scott. There's the one that does Rio Grande. Shaughnessy. He's way cool.
Those guys link up every month. So they and state Utah drug court, you know.
They kind of set the whole agenda, they do it all together. Skanky's the main one, of course, but they do a good job. It was good to me, like I was in that for a minute, but it really taught me mainly about structure and just your routine. Like you got to accept the fact that you're not going to find out what you're doing tomorrow until you call it at 5 a.m., find out if you got a UA or not, because that UA can, screw up your entire day. So I learned how to just kind of shuffle things around and,
Yeah, drug court is stressful, man. Really stressful, because you got the thumb of the court over your head.
Dude.
I learned scheduling, too. It was like, man, no matter what, I'm going to group today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't mess around. They're like, we're first. We don't care who second is, we're first.
Right. Exactly.
They told me that in jail, and I started laughing, and the girl that was giving the assessment, she's like, "No, I'm serious."
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, you mean I go to jail if I don't show up? Yeah, I still
how many times can I fail before I actually go to jail?
Right.
You're one free one. You have one free one at the beginning. That's it.
Another one would be the LDS Church, man.
Sure, good people.
They helped me out a lot. They really did. They helped me. They've always been there to help when I've asked for help. Even though I was LDS when I was young, I don't even go to LDS, churches anymore. But yet they still reached out, and my old ward from Vernal, Naples Second Ward, they helped get me into Mentor Works when I paroled.
I've been at Mentor Works.
And Mentor Works, good old Mentor Works.
We'll talk about that when we're done recording.
But you know what though?
It's gone. It's shut down.
Their heart is good, or was good. A few people can ruin it. Let's put it that way.
I learned a lot about people up top there, and I wouldn't like to say the word blackmail or bribe or anything.
I heard all about it. Yeah, you told me about it.
Yeah, and
we don't need to go into
I
that.
still got the text message saying, but hey, it worked.
All I'm saying is,
they were good people.
It was. They didn't influence anything I did. So,
yep.
Anyway, shout out to to them for letting me have a bed when I needed a bed.
Dr. Joseph.
Yep. So, I only met him a couple times, but the Pines Recovery.
Touched by them. I've never heard of them.
They're the ones in Heber I was telling you about.
Okay.
They've got a really, really cool facility. Owners have now changed, so I don't know who owns it. But
that's a good place to be in treatment.
Dude, it was so much fun out there. It was a really cool place.
It's nice out there.
I went to treatment at Reflections in Orem, Utah. Linden.
Yep.
Dave was the one that from Steps. He went from Steps.
Steps is good.
He went to Reflections. So
I wanted to real quick before I forget about it. Are there not a lot? Are there sober livings in Utah County that are like? Is it just like one or two? They have a good,
There's not very many of them out there, man.
A buddy of mine in Nevada. He was over there. Him, the girl, and everything, the kid, and he's got to come back to finish his probation here. So he wants to go to a sober living because he's been sober. We all got sober together years ago. So I told him I'd ask around because it's got to be in Utah County.
I do know of one that I went to a sober living out there. It was called it's BB. I remember that.
Would have been Collected, was it?
No, it's actually right by the Walmart on University. Right off, where the UVU college is. There's that Walmart just on the south side.
Oh, yeah.
Sandhill Drive. So you go right down behind.
Is it towards Center Street or Center Street's behind you?
So you go to Walmart, right?
Yep.
And if you take that road, it's called Sandhill Drive.
Okay.
It goes south.
Okay.
And that sober living is just like a half mile down that road.
Okay.
I cannot remember the name of the.
Jordan, we're working on this for you.
I've got it on my phone, and I'll find it for you.
Yeah, Jordan, we'll check up. We'll get that back to you. So.
Shout out to them. So another one is Cornerstone of Recovery in Knoxville, Tennessee. They're the ones that helped me when I was a pilot.
I didn't tell you what. So my mom and I spoke after I think segment 3, and she's like, about the whole treatment place. She's like, oh yeah, we've known about that forever. And I was like, oh really? She's like, yeah, it's got a good success rate.
Really, 80 something percent success rate, dude.
Yeah, that's a good place.
I was like, unfortunately, I was like one of the very few that didn't make it, which really sucks to say, but yeah, I was like part of the 15% that didn't go back into flying. I just,
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I kept thinking it wouldn't happen to me.
Yep.
It won't happen to me.
Oh, pity
Guess
me.
what? It sure as fuck happens.
Sit on the pity pot. It happens,
Shout out to the HIMSS program. The one that's what we're talking about actually with
the HIMSS program.
The pilot program.
Okay.
ExpressJet out of Houston. And my family, man. Another cool thing that I did that really helped me out a lot in my recovery was I worked in procurement with Odyssey House.
Really?
Dude, that's
so cool.
much fun.
Well, I almost did that at Epic. There's a committee. There's like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, that's all there was. There was a couple of us.
I got a free haircut.
And we would drive around all over, like
just get people to help.
Utah County, Salt Lake County, and Davis County, and we'd pick up stuff from the van stores, like Vans. Mm-hmm. All the van stores around here donate so many shoes. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Tons of shoes, you guys. And clothes, and Columbia does. Mm-hmm. We were getting Nike back when I left.
That's crazy.
Heather over at Odyssey House was our boss, and man, she does a lot of good work.
Heather, I've never met Heather. I think maybe once.
Yeah, she's so awesome. I don't know how big of a reach out you guys have for your with your network of this, but if she hears, hello Heather. I had a lot of fun. So
I heard a lot of good things about you, Heather.
It taught a lot though. It's a sales job, really. And it really brought a lot of awareness to me about
your focus back,
how much help people need in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that really is near and dear to my heart. In fact, I dropped off a bunch of clothes last night and today as well for people here that might need help, and that's just for my family. So I've always got my ear out. If anybody says, "Hey, I've got extra clothes," do you know of anybody that might need them? Yeah, absolutely. So even if I don't know, I know people that will find out. I wasn't sure about who might need them around here, so I went and asked Tiffany.
What'd she say today? What'd she tell you?
She's asked, absolutely. I know people that need them.
Hell yeah.
And so that's the kind of thing that we all need to do as far as it comes to
every needs to contribute. Yes, absolutely.
So that's just a big thing that I like to try to do. It gets me out of my head. It gets me out of my holding myself up in my apartment.
Everybody's got their thing, and it's like if that's your thing, you roll with it, and it's it works.
I need to get better at networking. To be honest with you, I mean, I find myself going.
I'll make you famous on.
I find myself going to work and coming home and not doing anything, and then going back to work.
Yep.
I need to get out there and do something with somebody. So
yeah, no, I know. I hear you.
That's all I got, man.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Just a couple shout outs to my end, guys. We've been off for a minute now. I had a lot of things going on. Everything's going really well. We got Eric's episodes with The Time Is Now. We're getting a lot of good feedback on that. He did episode 5 last night. I think today it'll be 6 if he's doing today. But anyway, shout out to Eric. You're doing a great job. We love you. And Eric, thanks for making things easier for me. Everybody else, Andrew, Betty, Bryan, you name it, everybody, Tiffany, just everybody brings something to this, and that's why we do it, because of COVID, you're not going to get that meeting, or at least back then you couldn't. So this kind of is a thing to kind of bring people together, because I learned more myself listening to people's stories, I love the stories, dude. That's my favorite part of sobriety is listening to the stories.
Dude, I know, it is. That is the funnest part of the speaker meetings.
Yeah.
I love them too.
I
love going to speaker meetings, man. Because sometimes you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, well, this is what we do, 5 episodes. That's pretty much a speaker meeting. Well, maybe like 2 or 3 time-wise, but it's, but that's why I did it. Like, I would have people on and we just start talking, and it just kind of worked itself out. We weren't sure what we were going to do about it, but we knew we were going to do it.
Yeah.
We just didn't know how. I mean, we're still learning every day how to do this, but it's just cool that we can have people on here and they can spit their stories out because we're on every platform, like there's no hiding from us. We're there.
Hey, one other thing that was so important that I didn't even touch with in my recovery, it saved my life 3 times, and that's naloxone.
Oh yeah.
I'm not kidding you. It is a lifesaver.
Dude. He's talking about what's the other name for it? Naloxone.
Shoot, I can't.
Oh my god.
It's basically an naloxone shot.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
You know, it saves your life. Basically,
it wipes your receptors clean.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. It saved my life 3 times. I've
got
overdosed
3 times. You got withdrawals afterwards, though.
Oh, it made me so sick. I know. Anyway, that's a big thing, and I think everybody needs to, have some of that available
at all times. You never know.
And talk to your young ones about suicide too, because that was a big pivot in my recovery too, was the suicide of my nephew, and dude, it saddens me. You know, so all these walks that you hear about, suicide prevention and stuff, there's nothing worse than being that depressed to where. Yeah, and you gotta really have empathy for somebody. When you think about that, think about how dark of a hole you've got to be able to do that to yourself.
Yeah.
To take away, the joy of your family and stuff. And so
it's the devil, dude.
Don't make fun of people or families that experience that. That's some serious stuff, and reach out so that we don't have any of that anymore.
Yeah.
So
reach out. You see.
Christmas is coming up, and it's a hard holiday for all of us.
A lot of people, especially those out on the streets, it's like, I know that, I know what it's like to be far away from your family back in the South and be out here and it's fucking 5 degrees, but you know what, we get through it, and for me, it's like, it's only made me stronger. I wouldn't go back and change anything,
Yeah.
I'm just
look how strong you are,
I'm moving forward, yeah. Hit the weights with Arnold's. But, well, awesome. Do you have anything else, or you good?
That's it, man. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, and I'm sure we'll have you back on sooner than later. So, thanks, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right,
have a good night, guys. Have a good weekend. Be safe.